Ooh, you almost had that goat timing down perfect. You almost had double goats.
Plausibly live.
Well, yo, YouTube. Welcome to another live Wednesday night with Charlie and Stuart. And we have an extra guest here tonight. Let's tell everybody who you are.
My name is Luna, and I am 9 years old.
This is Luna, and she's 9. My daughter Luna. She wanted to be on the live tonight, so I told her she could do that.
And also I'm a YouTuber too. My channel is Avocado Toast 939.
Avocado Toast 939 is her YouTube channel.
Not 939, just 39.
Just 39. Avocado Toast 39?
Yeah.
Avocado Toast 39 is her YouTube channel.
Now you get my real name.
Yeah. So she just wanted to kind of see how our lives go on Wednesday night. I told her she could join us for a little while. She does have a bedtime tonight, of course, school tomorrow. But so say hi to everybody, and Luna, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
There you go. All right, so we got quite a bit to go over tonight. We have a few topics that we'll probably eventually get to, as per usual. I want to talk a little bit about the 6x9 envelope shipping, where you use 3 card savers taped together, and you can ship for the 3 ounces. We want to talk a little bit about Whatnot, exploring some more Whatnot, and how we can fit that into our sales time frame. Some non-sport pickups. I bought a ton of non-sport stuff. I'm going to make a video on it, so I'm not going to go over too much. Well, kind of covered it a little bit last week too. And then a little bit about listing and where our listing counts are at, and how listing count increases are great, but sales are even better. So we don't want to totally focus on listings and make sure that that's not top or number one, right? So how are things, Charlie?
They're good. It's been a steady week of listing and shipping and goats. So pretty happy with the week so far. It's pretty consistent. I've been working with the scanner yet, working with CDP. Got a nice message from CDP the other day checking in. Alex over at CDP wanted to know how things were going. Had a nice back and forth with them. Got us another set of risers and another catch bin.
Yeah, they emailed me too, and I'm like, well, I don't really need a third set. So,
they'll break at some point. Trust me.
Well, that's true. Maybe I'll reply to him tomorrow. We'll see what he says.
Yeah, doesn't hurt.
What's the guy's name there?
Alex Lynn, I think.
I don't remember if that's who the guy that I talked to. I can take a look here. Yeah, masterclass on scanning he sent me too.
Yep, I got that too. We had already looked at those videos though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something you need to watch before you do this.
Yes. Well, it covers the unboxing of the scanner too, and that would have been helpful.
Well, especially to me, because the thing came to me and you unboxed it, and I had no clue how to get it back in there.
Yep.
Since ours travels a little bit. All right, let's start out with maybe we'll start out with the 6x9 envelope shipping. I talked to you about this a little bit today. I've shipped, actually, Luna, can you grab me the yellow envelope over there? Is there a yellow one? Yeah, the bigger one.
This one?
Yeah. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so it's kind of a flat pack. And what I did was I take 3 full-size card savers, and I actually got 20 cards in here, so huge. And as I'm getting more and more bigger multiple card orders, I want to try to get them shipped for regular postage rates. But I take 3 of them, like you kind of got to overlap them a little bit.
Okay.
To fit in the envelope, so like this. You can see that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But you can fit your normal amount, 5 or 6 cards per top load. So you're looking at 15 to 16 cards regularly. Like I said, I got 20 in this one, but it was some Sports Illustrated for Kids cards and
Oh, thin
a sticker
paper.
card. There was some thinner stuff, but normally I would have had to send this out as a package rate, which would have been like $4, and this was $1.12. So that's going to be a real nice savings. I have a bunch of 6x9 envelopes, so it just made a lot of sense to try to use them if I can. So
Yeah, I need to try
have you
that out.
tried?
I have not. I don't even have any 6x9 envelopes just randomly laying around. So I'll have to source
Mhm.
some and give it a try.
Yeah, I actually use them for shipping other stuff that I sell. So I had a good stack of them sitting around anyway. I thought, oh, why not? I'll try them with the cards.
Yeah, and I did look at the standard envelope policy, and they do comply. So, and having the 3 card savers provides a little bend in between the card
A little
savers too. So
flexibility.
that should help.
Yeah, and I just kind of tape just like I do when you use the 2 card savers, front to front. You just kind of run a piece of tape around each seam essentially. I ran one big piece of tape across all 3 openings, and then I ran a piece of tape on each seam between the 3 of them, and it flat packs pretty nice. They're in there nice, and I put tape over the edges of the envelope just to seal them in there real good, and then I put my label over. The 6x9 envelopes, the seam is in the middle of the back of the envelope, so I put my
Okay.
label over that seam. I try to cover all seams on any package that I send, just to make sure that nothing pops open or somebody can't just take an envelope opener and pop it open, something like that. So
Yeah,
a couple extra pieces of tape I think are worth it for sure. But it's
I would agree with
that's a nice added option for when you get slightly bigger orders, which, like I said, happens more and more the bigger you get.
yeah.
Are we boring you?
No.
She's yawning over here. Yeah, so I think we're going to be able to find ways to, and shout out to our Discord member who was the one that was talking about this and gave us this idea. And I thought about it a little further, and I'm like, wait, 6x9, yeah, that would totally work. You should be able to fit 3 in there with a slight overlap. You could just use 3 of the little ones, but I don't think you're going to get very many cards in them. So it's
Right.
probably not going to save you much. You're probably only going to get 3 to 5 cards in each one of these. So you're probably looking at, what you could do with just 2 card savers in an envelope in
Right.
that case. So you have to do a little bit of overlap. Good night, love.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
noticing
so-
the stream looks a little different tonight. Did you figure out some new tweaks with it?
Well, I mean, you know how tech savvy I am, so
Yes.
I decided to look for a webcam that I had a while ago that I used on a desktop, and it's in my wife's office. And I said, "Well, hey, do you still have that webcam?" And she said, yeah, so she dug that out for me, and I tested it a little bit this morning off of I have like a generic test file that I have on StreamYard, and tested it out, and it worked great. So that's what I'm using tonight. So hopefully this is working for everybody. Put a shout out in the comments if you're having trouble watching or hearing or something. But otherwise, it seems like it's working just fine.
No, you know what it really is for me? Like literally everything looks different to me. You made me a moderator this week. So I can now see how many people are in the stream. I can see that you're broadcasting to YouTube, and there's more options available to me now.
For YouTube?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch part of that.
I can see you're live on YouTube now. I can watch it on YouTube, and I can see how many people are watching.
Ah, right. Yeah, it's kind of handy, isn't it?
It is.
Well, that
It
reminds
is.
me, I got to go monetize this thing quick.
Oh boy.
All right. So let's we don't have too much in the chat yet, which is weird. Normally we're way behind on the chat. So we
Nope,
kind
but
of
I
got
see a
started on
couple.
time, and I think I see a couple too. We got started on time, and I think we threw everybody off a little bit.
That could be. I told you that was risky. Are you setting something up?
Somebody keeps causing a reload. I don't know if that's me or you.
Oh boy. It's probably me. My connection seems pretty poor tonight.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I can see you. And we've got some company
Yeah.
tonight that
It keeps
playing games.
Yeah, it keeps saying. Yeah, it says every once in a while it'll tell me on here like my guest is trying to connect or something. Like it has the little little antenna logos and it shows that you're low.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But we'll make it work.
Yeah, I'm gonna change my
Let's see,
connection
what else
for a
am I gonna
minute.
do? Yeah, go for it. Do you plug directly in? Do you have a cat line? I can see you. Okay, so I'm freezing, but Charlie is not. That's interesting. I wonder if it's from the camera. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? All right, I kicked Charlie and I reloaded. Sorry, everybody. Can you see me now? Is it working? Seems like it's fine on my end anyway.
I'm back.
Hey, look at that. Do you still have a delay?
I don't know. We'll see. I just redid a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I would say I do. Can you hear me?
Okay. Well, not much we can do about that. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just checking some settings here. All right. So does this look better to everybody? Are we doing better? Maybe maybe I'll
So now I'm all
try
good.
to go on my phone. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe this is stupid webcam. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're good and I'm not. So StreamYard. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Sorry. I'll try to do it my camera way again. I don't see why I would be having a problem other than the camera. So, because
True.
my internet is certainly not.
Now there's going to be 3 of us on here.
Now there's going to be 3 of us on here.
All right, hold on. Let me leave this one.
All right, hold on. Let me leave this one.
All right, hold on. Let me leave this one. How about that? And some stereo. Did you guys like that?
You know what I just found? I think what I just realized is I'm logged on as you.
What?
Yeah, I just put something in the chat and it says you put it in there.
What the heck?
That is interesting.
Huh. Well, that
Yeah,
seems to be this seems to be working just fine and no delay. So
Yeah, it must be because of that moderator thing that I'm
yeah.
trying.
Well, I sent you an invite that you could make, like, yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Moderator stuff. Yeah. Two atoms. Yikes. Yeah, you ain't kidding, buddy. All right. Sorry everybody about that. I'll have to look into it. I don't know if that's that webcam is the issue or what, but we're in here now. We're good.
Is there still a
anyway,
delay?
Huh?
No delay now, huh?
No, not at all. So it had to be either one of. I'm guessing it was my end if I changed to the phone.
Every week you shame me with my Spectrum internet.
Well, it was your fault every week. This week it was a piece of hardware, I guess. No, my phone's on the same internet, so it's got to not be the internet, but it's got to be that. I don't know. I don't know why the camera would add a delay, but I don't know. Anyway, let's move along. So we talked about the 6x9 envelopes. I think it's something that we want to probably continue looking at going forward, because I've shipped out maybe 4 or 5 of those now. So, but it was just within the last few days. So I'm curious just to make sure that they actually get there. There's no postage due, something like that. And then this one, I pushed the envelope a little bit, and I got 20 cards in there. I think that deserves a goat scream. I pushed the envelope. Come on. That's a dad joke goat scream right there.
Stuart is impressed.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he is. So anyway, and then well, should we get to the chat so we're not getting too far behind? We put these people through enough tonight. Let's at least acknowledge everyone
we
who's
can do
here.
that.
I think that's probably a good idea. And you're right, you did post as me, so that's really interesting. Don't say anything bad. Don't say anything bad. I have enough problems.
I have full control now.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Andrew is here. He says, "Good evening, gentlemen." Ooh, ouch. And young lady.
Calling us names right away.
Yeah, I always assume people's intentions are good, but we don't like the gentleman word here. So, just so everyone knows who hasn't been on here before. Dan says, "Evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well or feeling better. Thank you very much." Yeah.
Under the weather this week.
Yeah, last couple days, actually, like all of us got wiped out at one time. So Luna's been off of school last couple days. She's feeling better, as you guys saw. Maria's down sick too, so we're just kind of getting through it. It's that kind of it's a cold, but it's one of those wipe you out colds, where you get the chills in your body hurt, the whole thing. So
we've got a bunch of people in the office that have been out the last couple of days too. So I'm glad tomorrow I start my work at home week, so I get out of the cesspool of germs.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like, Bree and I both work at home. Great, we escaped that fate, but we have a kid, so all bets are off once you have a kid, because they're just that is the cesspool. And when I went to go pick her up, the office lady, same thing. She's like, "Oh yeah, we have so many kids out right now," and just that kind of late winter run, early spring run of colds and flus and things like that. So,
did you use daycare when Luna was younger?
No.
Man, the first time you take your kids to daycare, I've never seen a family sicker. That kid starts coming home with all these germs they've never been introduced to before. it was like a month and a half of nonstop sickness in the house when we started daycare.
And kids are bad because they don't cover their mouth, they don't wash their hands enough, they touch and share and do all that stuff, and it's virtually impossible to get away from it. But that being said, I'll take a 1-day flu kind of thing anytime, get through it and move on, and hopefully not have to deal with one for a while. We have been spending a bunch of time at the hospital recently, so it could have came from there too.
Sure. Yeah.
With my dad being there. So we put my parents' house up for sale on Monday, so that's been fun watching the views and listen the showings and stuff like that. So yeah, we just got a lot going on, so I think probably some stress and some things like that, added to those effects. It only takes one person in your house to get something, and then boom, it travels pretty quick.
Start passing it around.
Yeah. Bargain Boxer is here. He says, Charles in charge? No, never. You go away. You go away. Look at this. I give this guy a little bit of a leash, and he just wants to run down the road with it.
It's Stu's influence.
Yeah, it must be. It must be. Next thing I know, you'll be eating the grass in the backyard.
Yeah.
Lofi Joe is here. He says, evening all. Evening, Joe. Thanks for joining us. Where's Urethra? I've been wondering that myself. She was such a great proponent of the show for so long and gave us some good ideas. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm concerned.
Very just disappeared. So, yeah, we'd love to have her back. So hopefully someday. How is everyone this fine evening? Frank has joined us. Thanks, Frank. We're doing okay now. A little bit of technical difficulties we had to wade through, but things seem to be okay. Working it this way. Sales have been really good. I finally got my videos have been delayed, obviously, with all the stuff going on and illness and that, but I finally got my weekend sales video up, and I had like 2 giant paws full of cards. It was crazy. So
Right.
very, very strong, selling everything. I'm trying to really reload some non-sport stuff. Selling a lot of odds and end football as players are now trading, changing teams and getting deals and signing backup quarterbacks and all that kind of. I sold a bunch of Kirk Cousins stuff today.
I've got some Kenny Pickett for you if you're looking.
I just sold some Kenny Pickett yesterday too. I'm like, why is somebody buying them now? So yeah, it's a really odd way to buy them now. But we have to keep in mind too that we're selling to a collector, right? We're not selling to like the guy who's looking to buy. Not always. I mean, some are, but
yeah.
If you got somebody who collects that team and they just picked up Kenny Pickett, I'll buy a couple of cheap Kenny Pickett rookies. They're cheap right now. So I have them for my collection. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of Baker Mayfield. Just a couple other bit players. Some Ezekiel Elliott I sold. Some Saquon. I was kind of hoping I'd get a boom on Josh Jacobs because I've been buying Josh Jacobs for a long time. He ends up in he gets kind of forgotten for some reason, even though he's like one of the top 3 backs in the league. And he gets thrown into like quarter and 50-cent boxes, and I buy them all the time. And they do sell. I sell quite, I wouldn't buy them if I didn't sell them. But I thought, moving to the Packers, that might be,
It should be an upgrade for him. He didn't have that great of a year last year, but he wasn't on a great team. That's
well, I think because a lot of people are, we're in Green Bay. Full disclosure, a lot of people were mad they got rid of Aaron Jones, but when they did, and then they got Jacobs, I'm like, that's kind of the right move. If you look at how Jordan Love plays and their receiving core the way they are now, and it's a younger team and this and that. I sort of feel like Jacobs would fit in well. A little bit more power, a little bit more, up and down running on the field. And I think they struggled a little bit last year when they were like 3rd and 2, right? Yeah. That's not Aaron Jones' like best spot to be in to run the ball. And Love played pretty well, but he couldn't do the little thing. He can't do all the little things yet. He's still new, right? So.
Well, Aaron Jones was on the field less than half the games, if I recall.
Yeah, well, and he's getting a little bit older too. I mean, running back, the lifespan of a running back is not very good. So thought it was a good move, and picking up a back that good. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, so I'm kind of excited about that. I hope he does well. I've got a bunch of Josh Jacobs I can move, and I'll continue to pick some of those up. So those are kind of the hotter sales right now, at least in football. I sold some Zaire Williams, who's a rookie cards, who's a basketball, who plays basketball, obviously. His stuff's picked up a little bit. I mean, there's the obvious ones, Wembanyama, and those are all selling. But some of those fringe guys I had pretty good luck with this week. And I think the racing stuff is selling pretty well right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, both seasons are in full swing, NASCAR and F1. So I did sell a Denny Hamlin the other day after he won the race on Sunday. So
yeah, I sold some Haley Deegan's.
She always sells.
A couple of them, yeah. So I'm gonna see if I had something here. There's something I wanted to show you, but I don't know if I have it here or not. I'll have to dig it out later. I got something super, super cool in one of my non-sport lots I really want to show off. But I guess maybe you guys will just have to wait for the video because can't dig it out right now. But anyway, yeah. So I think racing has been doing pretty well. Wrestling seems to have picked up a little bit. I sold some Stone Cold.
WrestleMania is just around the corner.
Yeah, so I started listing more of it. I had some stuff laying around. A couple Macho Mans I sold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I try to stick more to the WWF wrestlers. But I sold some, listed a bunch more Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss and a lot of the female wrestlers and stuff that we know always do well. So trying to get some of that stuff up as the hype is right there. Excuse me. But before we go any further, I want to take a quick break. Thank everybody for being here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. Thumbs up this video if you enjoy these conversations. Make sure to join our Discord, which I took the link off of here because it was an expired link and I didn't put a new unexpired one. But if you go to Discord and you look up the Dollar Box, and we're the only the Dollar Box on there, join our Discord. It's very active. We have a good time on there. I've gotten a lot of good information off of there already from the viewers, and Charlie and I contribute on there pretty regularly as well. So it's a chance to interact a little bit more with us. And then also I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/thedollarbox. You can join that if you'd like. There's a way to support the channel and you'll get some extra content as well. So, but yeah, I think those are probably the three that I've noticed the most pickup on. It has been some of the younger basketball, the rookie basketball stuff. The Dennis Rodman stuff has been selling really well. We talked about that a little bit before we went live. He was just honored at a Bulls game, and I sold a whole bunch of Dennis Rodman.
What color was his hair?
I think it was like a blondish color, if I remember correctly. I didn't look at a video too long and just kind of saw him he had like a full color. He's always been fashionable, right? So he had like one of the 90s old school full color basketball, like Bulls Rodman t-shirts on.
Okay.
But yeah, so, if all of a sudden you see a spike in something, you kind of got to go look at the news and see why all of a sudden are people buying these. The more listings you get, the more you'll notice it, because instead of selling like a card, you might sell 10 cards. So it's interesting to I like doing that when I sell some. I go, why is somebody buying this now? So I had a huge soccer sale today, a bunch of Sports Illustrated for Kids stuff, which was kind of fun. Also the Sports Illustrated for Kids issue came out this week. That's been a hot topic in our Discord. I played my card on that one, so everybody knows now to play the Sports Illustrated for Kids stuff. I had 9 issues. I sold all 9 of my Charlie Woods cards instantly to one buyer who was going to pay my premium and bought them all. And sold a couple of Penix and a McCaffrey. So they've been doing pretty well. And I did list the posters too, in case you were wondering, Charlie.
I looked at the posters. They didn't excite me too much this time. I didn't do anything with them.
The thing I liked about it was there was a hockey player on it, and I don't think you see that very often. So, because they're double-sided, of course. Now, the last one was Wembanyama on both sides. This one was McCaffrey on one side, and I'm going to get it wrong, but it's I think he's a Devils, New Jersey Devils hockey player on the other side. So I thought that would be fun. I don't have a ton of hockey stuff. They're free in the magazine. Why not list them? Sold a few of the Wembanyama's, so I'm just kind of making a stack of posters in one of my cabinets, and I have a few different like poster mailers, if you want to call them that.
Okay.
And like it's the plastic sleeve essentially that you'd put the poster in to mail it, like a giant top load, pretty much.
Okay.
So if they pop, I'll ship them out. So, yeah, I think those are probably our hot takes right now on the sales front. Draft is coming up very soon, in our town even, which is crazy. So we'll see how that plays too. You start getting some of these big wide receiver drafts, and it pushes up the quarterback stock. And vice versa. You get a big quarterback draft. Well, the Justin Fields one this week kind of surprised me. I say kinda because it wasn't a shocker by any means, but I guess that means they're going to try to get Caleb Williams. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the consensus thought around it, and I would have a hard time disagreeing with that.
Yeah. Well, the only problem is they're going to ruin Caleb Williams.
Pretty much, yeah.
So now it's like, okay, well, all that Caleb Williams. No, I resell this stuff anyway, so I don't care. I don't really hang on to any Caleb, but I'd be cautious a bit on playing him too hardcore as far as like a card investment, because I don't know if the Bears are going to do him correctly.
Yeah, the Bears are just going to throw him out on the field in week 1 and say, figure it out. Because
Pretty
that's
much.
the Bears quarterback coaching mentality.
Well, yeah, and now they don't even have Fields. So, like, who do they have? They don't even have a quarterback. So, I don't know. That's a little disappointing. But I am excited. I do have some nice Field stuff. I got some autos, auto rookies and stuff like that. It'd be nice to have him get a good chance. So, in that light, it's a positive as far as I'm concerned. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Dan said Charlie broke his by switching. Charlie is frozen. Now they're both gone. Now the asylum is in charge. Responding, yes, you can see me. Since they're gone, let's talk about them. Thank you very much. Adam's freezing. Charlie is clear. Adam froze. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. I did not say that.
You did too. It says
Did
right
not.
there. The dollar box said that.
I did not go to my grave saying I did not say that. Two Adams, yikes, you're darn right. The phone cam looks good. All right, so we got through all that. That was our technical difficulties, 15 minutes of time. Hobby-wise, Green Bay is a top 3 team to go to. Absolutely helps. Correct. I agree. I think Josh Jacobs will get some eyes on him that he wasn't going to get anyway, being at Las Vegas. So, yeah, I think it'll be good, and I think it'll inject some juice into this young team that had a pretty decent year last year to get like some real firepower in that backfield. Not to take anything away from Aaron Jones, but I think this will be a spark. So we'll see, and you should get some good opportunities to run the ball too. CY has joined us. Welcome to the show. Any historical trends on how card pricing fluctuate during season and off season of sports? Do you list at today's price or list a little higher, letting the market come up to your price? Good couple of questions, and there is a mountain of data about what sells when. But big butts, and I cannot lie. Did you like that?
Nice reference.
Sidebar. there is this group that covers songs, but as other musical artists. And there's one of the ones they did was Baby Got Back, but they did it as Simon and Garfunkel, and it is groundbreaking. You got to check that out. Anyway, so I would say that data is shifting quite a bit because so many people are trying to. It's like stocks, right? You're trying to get to be the next first, the next first, the next first. So really, I say football cards, and I'm speaking about football, because that's what I know the best. I would say now is the time that they actually sell the best, as far as like prospects, right? Because by the time you get to the season, that's all done. Once they play a game, there's only going to be disappointment. So it used to be like the month before was the month you would buy football, and just the month before baseball is when you buy baseball. I saw baseball start heating up like in like December, on prospects and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say there's quite a bit of data out there, and I think you just kind of have to feel it out. As far as listing for prices, I sell mainly low end stuff, so I just price what I feel like I can get for the card, and I don't look at each specific card as a value. I really try to look at my margins. So if I'm paying 25 cents for a card, I need to make sure I at least hit this margin, and take my profit. If I can sell it quicker for a few pennies less, that's usually a good option, because I can take that money and put it into something else, and I make money off of that card, and so on and so forth. So I will generally look at what I think I can sell it for right now and price it a little bit above, because I do not want to be the discount bargain box seller. No offense to bargain boxer. I want to try to build a brand of quality and higher end, if you will, higher end, low end. So let's say, for example, a card selling for $2.50, I might price it at $2.99. If it's selling for $3.50, I might price it at $5, something like that. And I'm willing to hold out. It also gives me that space to accept a lower price, or to have a buyer take advantage of my coupon where they can buy it down to market price, but it's still an advantage for me because they're buying a bigger quantity. So that's kind of how I look at my pricing. I'm not necessarily going out and buying the hot players. I'm selling the hot players right now because I have those cards, but I'm not out there buying them. So it's a little bit different. How do you want to answer this, Charlie? As yourself. Answer it as you, not me.
Okay. All right. Can I answer it as Stu?
Sure.
So you're right. There's a mountain of data on this. In my pursuit of finding this answer myself, as I've been selling this past year, I find that the high points of selling in each of, at least for the major sports, the big four, let's say, is right before the season and then right before the playoffs through the end of the season. With the possible exception of football, football stays a little more stable, in my opinion, from what I've seen.
I agree.
But it's really about those hype cycles. So, we, as you said, baseball started heating up in December. We started talking about spring training coming and some of the moves that were happening. Ohtani changed teams, so there was big news in free agency, and then we hit spring training and things went up another level. And then, baseball's a long season. You're going to see in about a month, I think, baseball kind of slows down into a lull for a while. And then we get into like September, looking ahead to playoffs in October, and things heat up again to the end of the year. And then it drops off a cliff after the World Series. Whereas football stays a little more stable, but we still see a little bit of a pop in the preseason and during the playoffs. But it's definitely a safer play with football if you're risk averse. But from a pricing standpoint, I still look at more comps just because I don't have as much market experience. But like Adam, I don't want to be the bottom discount seller unless I find no sales history for a card. Let's say I'm comping a low end card and everyone's got it listed out there for $2.99, but there have been no sales. I might go $2.25 because I'm not going to price high if nobody's making sales out there where they're at, so that's kind of how I look at it. I almost always go over normal comps though. I don't go a lot over, maybe 10-20% sometimes. Or if I think I have some intel that I think this player is going to pop off, or the market's going to heat up, I may try to get ahead of it that way too.
Yeah, I think my biggest take out of these questions is I tend to buy like Nolan Ryan and Bryce Harper and Barry Bonds, and none of that gets impacted by off season or on season.
True.
Now I can get more sales of those players when baseball is in mines, but it doesn't necessarily, like, the price doesn't change, right? If I sell that Bryce Harper for $3.99 during the season, I can sell it at $3.99 in the off season.
True.
Might not sell as fast, but the price doesn't really change that much. Especially guys that are done. Like Nolan Ryan has been retired for 20 years. Barry Bonds has been retired and won't make the Hall of Fame, so that's not a relevant conversation with him anymore either. He's been retired for 10 years, whatever. So I would rather play those players than, and I did kind of made a point about this in my last Patreon video, of some of the young players I'm looking at in baseball. I really like the Orioles prospects and their team. I think they're going to make a run this year. And they're just so stacked with great young names. You got Jackson Holliday and Gunnar Henderson and Ryan Mountcastle and Adley Rutschman. And I mean, just name after name after name after name of these big prospects are all on that team. Then that's a little different. Then I'm like right now, the last couple shows I bought a lot of Jason Dominguez and things like that. Because those guys aren't really prospects anymore, I guess is the way do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm buying prospects, but they're not actually the prospects. Like I'm not buying the guys that are juniors in high school that just got a contract. I'm buying the guys that are like, okay, for 3 years they've been raking in the minors, and now this year they're actually going to get to play. Like that's the kind of cards that I like to play when I'm playing younger players.
Yeah.
Elly De La Cruz, he's still considered a rookie this year, right? I think, because he hasn't really played a full season. But but come on, he's a big leaguer. Like they're not going to send him down, right?
Yeah.
So you can play Elly De La Cruz cards, and he will have He'll have major league, experience this year. He should be able to play there the whole season. So, that's kind of my lane. I don't like the guy 5 years from now that's going to come in. I'll wait a few years and I'll buy some cards then. So, because there's just so many of those players that probably will never get anywhere.
Right. I actually bought an Elly today for $1. Nice.
Yeah, I bought quite a few at the last few shows. Stuff has been showing up in the cheap boxes, and it was really weird because I wanted to buy baseball the past few shows, and I'm like, well, there's no way I'm going to get a deal on baseball. Baseball's coming, within a month. That's what I found the most of in a good deal. I found a ton of Jason Dominguez and Elly De La Cruz and Bobby Witt Jr. and Julio Rodriguez and like all these guys and Shohei in dime boxes.
Yep.
And I'm like, what the heck why are you putting those in dime boxes right now? I mean, good for me. I was happy, and I flipped a lot of that stuff really quick. I just had a huge Baltimore Orioles purchase yesterday. It was all Gunnar and Adley and, all those guys I just talked about. Like, I know those are going to sell. Even if that team does nothing this year, I know I can sell them now for sure. So, and I will price like a hot player a little higher than I normally would too, right? You know, I would say if you have something of one of those guys that I just mentioned, we'll just keep it at that. You probably can ask a little bit more right now because there is a lot of demand for those cards, those
Right.
players. Frank has joined us. Welcome to the show. Hit my limit, so I had to purchase a store on eBay. Been listing almost not stopped since. Already noticed a spike in sales. Fantastic. Good work. Yeah, it's inevitable. You're gonna, cost wise and everything, the store is such a deal. So, right, Charlie?
I agree.
Yeah.
I eventually took the plunge as well.
Yep, you got to do it. You got to spend money to make money. MD is responding to CY. Historically, off-season prices get around 20 to 50% off, depending on dollar amount player. Definite pronounced trends for probably the entire lifetime of carps, but for sure the last 15 to 20 years, I think is what he's referring to. Yeah, I would say just get your deals whenever you can get your deals. If it's during the season, great. If it's, you know, let's say the first week of the season here, Ellie De La Cruz can't get a hit, right? He goes 0 for 20. His prices will drop. Well, it's in the season, and the Reds have a good team. You know, let's say everything else is in line there for Ellie to be successful later in the season. That's probably a good time to buy it, right?
Yeah.
So off season doesn't necessarily make for the best opportunity either, because when you're talking active players, because you don't know what could be happening during the year, or they get an injury or something like that. As soon as Ohtani went down last year, I was trying to buy Ohtani like mad. I picked up as much Ohtani on a good deal as I could. Let's see, Jack Hughes. I'm not sure what he's referring to there. Join our Discord and get in on the chat. Good job, Charlie. That's our.
I thought that was you.
No, it's not me. Stop it. Draft is in Detroit this year, right? No, I think it's in Green Bay, isn't it? Or is that next year?
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Green Bay. Yeah, it's like 2 blocks from my house. It's crazy. Weston says Green Bay. Yep.
We're getting rowdy.
He says Green Bay is in 2025. I'm pretty sure it's this year.
They're changing the school schedule and everything for this year.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. So, yeah, it's this year. Let's see. Postmodern Jukebox with the unique song covers. Agreed. Postmodern Jukebox is amazing, and they have. They don't have like a set band. They change out the band members regularly, so they get some really interesting cover tracks because they change their sound so often. You ever heard of Postmodern Jukebox?
I have not.
No, you gotta check it out. You gotta get more culture, man. More than just goat culture.
I have to tell you though, MD is right. The draft is Detroit this year. What the heck?
Yeah. Now that he said that, I was like, oh wait, I think Detroit. So okay, well that's good. I'll take a year in
way
between
ahead of things. Already looking like they had
for next year. For next year,
to change the schedule.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I can still drive downtown now. I don't have to worry about it this year.
Yeah.
I've noticed as I have noticed as my followers on eBay goes up, I see more multiple sales from the same buyer. Yep. You can build trust, you can build a brand, and you can build a customer base. I have customers who buy from me literally every week, sometimes a couple times a week.
Yep.
I'll even have a customer message me, because they get notifications when I list stuff. They'll message me and they'll say, "Hey, I really want that card. Can you throw that aside?" And I'll place an order on Friday. I've got, I need a few other cards, waiting for a paycheck, whatever it is. So yeah, handle it like a real walk in the door type business, and take care of those customers, and they'll keep coming back.
Yeah, I just got done packing up an order for one of my repeat customers now. Shout out to Garrett L. out there in Northern California. Thank you again.
Yeah, and one thing that's cool about eBay is when you get good customers and they find you as a good seller, they aren't going to go to somebody else because there's no other way for them to get there's no way for them to get a connection to somebody else, right? Unless they start buying from somebody else. So if you're able to get them the cards that they want and provide the service and all that stuff, you got a pretty good lock on it. A month or two before the season for most sports is the best time to sell on average. Yeah, I agree, especially football quarterbacks. For every okay, so Ritter, Desmond, and Howell, Sam Howell. Oh, Desmond Ritter, got it. For every Purdy, there are teams of the aforementioned. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always going to be, failures. That prospecting won't work out for some buyers.
That actually reminds me, Adam. I was in a Whatnot auction before the show this evening, and a Brock Purdy base went up for $1, and there were 0 takers.
Was it a rookie card?
No, it's just a regular base.
Oh,
Also,
man.
Tom Brady, no takers.
Yeah, if it was a rookie, you would have had takers. I was buying rookies out of the dollar box.
That's a bold statement. We would have had takers for a rookie quarterback card.
Well, try to get $1 for a Kenny Pickett rookie right now.
Yeah, today, that's true.
So
I've sold quite a bit of Kenny Pickett, actually, though.
I don't sell a whole ton. I was kind of surprised to actually see one this week sell for me, and I would assume it's mainly due to the result of him changing teams, but yeah, I don't know.
Uncle.
He didn't like it that Russell was coming in, which
Yeah,
I don't know, kind of smart on his part, right? Why stay at a team where you're not going to play? Might as well.
yeah. You're no
express-
longer the guy.
Yeah, at least go somewhere else where maybe you got a chance. CY says, thank you both and MD for detailed answers. I feel a lot of downward pressure on the $2 to $10 card prices. Modern baseball, to be specific. I think there's a lot more low-end modern baseball sellers than there are of any other sport, because it's such a prospecting sport, right? You're going to get 100 cards in a box of guys you never heard of that maybe will never make the field. So yeah, there's so many of that just goes to eBay then, and they try to just pump them out at $1 a piece or whatever
Yeah.
to get them out of there. Much more likely to sell in season. Even retired players, minds of the collector now are feeble. Pay attention to what's fed to them for in-season. Orioles good, but not ready yet, in my opinion. Yeah, in season for sure. That's when you really want to move. I just don't. I think I see more spikes like before the season, like in quantity, right? So when I'm trying to sell Jason Dominguez, I can buy 20 cards at a show in January and I'll sell all 20 cards within a week.
Yeah.
Versus I buy them like June, which is in season for baseball. But if the Yankees aren't that good, Jason's not doing a whole lot, they probably aren't going to sell right away. So I don't know. I think volume wise, at least for me, my results, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I've seen better results doing that early season part. And he's right. Earlier he mentioned that selling is the best time preseason. So, but I was just shocked at how many I could buy for a good price preseason, and then consequently turn around and sell right away.
Yeah, because
instantly for a profit.
A hot name, even though I think that window is going to be short. I think this time next year it's going to be a different story. So everyone was looking for him to be called up last year, and he wasn't. Right. So now he becomes the hot Yankees rookie this year. And if he doesn't pan out this year, then his window is closed.
Well, he came up last year because his first at bat, he hit a home run, and then people got all stupid over him.
You're right.
And I sold a bunch of Dominguez like that first week, which was fine because I didn't have a ton of it, and I sold almost all of it. And I'm happy to do that with any young player. I'll sell all of it.
Yeah.
And put my bigger quantity stock in sure things, blue chip players, right? Hall of Famers and sure Hall of Famers and things like that. But anyway, yeah, I think the Yankees aren't that good. So I think he's got a shot at making the day-to-day team, and he'll put cheeks in the seats, which the Yankees are predicated on making a big profit because they spend so much.
Yeah, I don't know because he didn't stick last year, and it's not like they had a lot that was going on. So to me, it's a bad sign that he didn't stick when he got a cup of coffee last year.
Yeah,
That's just
you could
me.
be right. Yeah, for the most part, like I said, with those types of cards, I just buy them and sell them right away. I'm not
Yep.
looking to. I don't. I'm not sitting around. I don't have emotion invested in any of this, which I know sounds crass, but you kind of have to be that way when you're running it as a business. And I learned that through all my training and my years in practice of being a stock trader. You can't. You have to do it based on dollars and cents and percentages and numbers and things like that. And I will buy Jason Dominguez if I can get him cheap enough, and I can sell them right now. You know, Acuna, that's becoming a different story for me now. Now Acuna is a long hold for me. I'll buy a 100 count lot of Acuna. I'm
Yeah.
confident in that. I wouldn't buy a 100 cart lot of Dominguez and have to try to turn all those right away. Before, like Charlie said, his window closes and he's nothing. That being said, one of the things to think about, since we're talking about him, with Dominguez is he plays for the Yankees. That matters. So,
That for sure matters.
and I think and same thing with those Orioles players. There's just so much hype on that team with so many good young names. I mean, I bought as much Jackson Holiday as I possibly could find at the Green Bay show. I found 3 whole cards that were a good buy. I sold all 3 of them already, right? So do I care if Jackson Holiday has a good year? No, I don't. Not at all. I bought my 3 cards and I sold my 3 cards. You know?
Jason Dominguez is on the 60-day IL. I didn't hear that. I wonder what's up with him.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really follow any of that. I bought my Dominguez cards and I sold. I think I have 1 or 2 base Bowman Chromes left, and that's it. Everything else sold. So
Yeah, I was just looking at the depth chart to see where he was projecting, and he's projecting as like the 4th outfielder, which,
okay,
I mean, he would make the team if that's the case, but
right.
I noticed he's on the 60-day injured list, they call it now.
I think sometimes with these baseball guys, they try to push them out there too young too. Right? We were kind of talking about that with football, like, you know, Packers always have this quarterback that comes out but they're not putting day 1 quarterbacks out there like we just talked about with the Bears, right? Okay, you're drafted. Here's your big paycheck. Go out there and throw 30 touchdowns. That's just a horrible plan. Green Bay has had a big string of good quarterbacks because they've taken an all-time great quarterback that they have and letting the young guy learn from them and then getting them out there once they know what the hell's going on. Because there's so many things about the game that you don't see on the TV, right? Like all these little conversations and how to talk to other players and how to talk to the coaches and, you know, just, oh, I see when he does this, he does that. You know, those are things you see from the sidelines, not in the game, and all of a sudden the linebacker's hitting you. But I think that mistake gets made a lot in baseball, where they take these young guys and there's hype, so they throw them out there, and I just think that's a very tough way to be successful right off the bat. You have some exceptions like Derek Jeter, the all-time greatest New York Yankee, but not everybody's Derek Jeter, or no one's Derek Jeter, I should say.
So funny you mentioned that because I got my new copy of MLB 24 for the PlayStation. And
yeah, he's like the featured Hall of Famer or something, right?
He's got his own storylines mode, and it takes you through like his whole journey as a player. So I was doing his major league debut tonight on the storyline. It was kind of fun. He does live action commentary on it from a subway seat, and it's really cool.
That's pretty awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
We did get a super chat, so I want to throw that on here. You get to jump the line, $5 donation. Thank you so much, Andrew. Appreciate you. As always, this chat is valuable, and you need to get paid for your time. I certainly appreciate that. Yeah, it does take a lot of time. You know, one of the things this week when I wasn't feeling too good, I really had to decide what I wanted to do with my time, because when you're a sole proprietor and don't have any employees, I don't get to just lay in the bed and take the day off. So I had to say, I'm not going to work on a lot of my videos this week. I'm going to drudge through, and plus it's hard to be on camera when you're sick, but I had to drudge through my listings and my shipping and all that stuff because that's how I get paid. So, so I love it when people are appreciative of the content and want to help us with that. So thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, we can head back up now. I have to always go all the way back to the bottom to see it. So maybe I'm doing something wrong there, but. All right, so we've got John Larson on here. He says, "Hi guys, have you ever had a problem with cards disappearing off of your eBay listings? I posted 200 Acuna cards." Acuna, we were just talking about him a month ago, and realized today that there are 100-ish unsold on there now. Thank you. Well, okay. I think I know what happened here.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to check. I think you had it set so that they wouldn't renew every 30 days. So what happened was they hit their 30-day mark and boom, they just went into your unsold because nobody bought them. Now, what happened with the other 100? I can only presume that you had those set to renew. And maybe it's because you don't have a store and you're only allowed so many listings, so you didn't want those to renew. So they wouldn't charge you for listing. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of shooting off the cuff based on your information here. But that's to me what that sounds like. So just go back to each of those listings, relist them, and then make sure they're set to automatically relist every 30 days.
I actually forgot about the auto relist function because I've used it since day one. So
Yep.
last week we were talking about that a little bit, or maybe it was in the Discord, and I'm like, oh, well, buy it now listings, they don't expire. They just go until they sell. Well, I forgot that's actually a setting I turned on, so long ago. And I don't even think about it anymore.
Well, I turned that setting on in 2014. So, yeah, it's been a bit. But I've always had a store, so it's never something that's ever been a concern. I think where maybe you'd be a little more conservative of using that is if you don't have, as many listings. So
I don't use it on auctions as much because I list a lot of second-rate cards on my auctions that I'm like, right. I don't know if these will sell or not, or they've got a little ding or something like that, and I'm like, I'll let them rotate a couple times, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't think they would sell, so I'm gonna just throw them in my 10-cent box. Yeah,
just put them in your 10-cent box and then let me know at the show, and I'll buy them and I'll sell them.
There's no Jeter. I don't have any dinged up Jeters.
Doesn't matter. I'll sell them.
I will list dinged up Hall of Famers. It's the base, nothing type cards that we're only going to sell for $1.99 in great shape, and then if they get a ding or a scratch, I'm like, I probably won't sell this unless somebody gets it for $1 at most. So
right.
And then the hope is always with auctions is that you have someone that wins an auction but then goes and buys a couple more cards too.
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot, but it can, especially if there's a coupon or something. Average Dave says Ohtani is a gamble. I'll see myself out. Of course he's a gamble. Don't kid yourself. Any player that's active currently is a gamble. Because they could have a terrible year. They could do something stupid, whatever. There's always a chance that they're not going to be there anymore. But yeah, so Ohtani with 2 Tommy John surgeries and everything, but there's also a very good upside to gambling on him. One, he's a huge name, huge collector market. I have customers that literally only collect Ohtani stuff and buy all of it. He's got that Japanese, lineage that's popular. He's the only player to play both sides of the ball, although he's not going to pitch this year. But he also moved to a much better team, so he's going to get even more eyes on him. They should be competitive for a pennant. Yeah, it's a gamble, but I think it's an okay gamble if you can get the cards at the right price. But I would say that about any card. If you can get it at the right price, then you want to take a shot. See why you should see the downward pressure on the high-end market? Yeah, that's why I don't do the high-end market. It's down. $2 to $50 market is great currently at shows. I don't pay attention much to eBay, no time. Yeah, the low end market is actually, I've actually had quite a few of my cards I've had to up the price on them that I've had for a while, that I've had quantity of for a while. Either A, because now I'm selling a bunch out of that quantity, so I up the price if my quantity is going down. Or B, there's just more money coming into it and there's more demand, so you can ask more money. So no, I have almost 38,000 listings. So do I go through every listing every day and recomp all my no way in hell you would be able to do that. But you can get a general feel for, oh geez, all of a sudden all this Rodman stuff is selling. I'm gonna go back through a few of my Rodman cards and maybe increase the price on some of those, right? Or I got 15 copies of this card and I haven't sold any in like a month, but this last week I sold 3 copies.
Right.
Well, maybe you want to up the price 50 cents. You know, plus you're in that algorithm now, so that card's going to get pumped out more eyes. So you can increase the prices on your cards and see those jumps. Ohtani is not a gamble at a dime nor at a dollar base. High end, anybody is. Yeah, exactly. That's, if you can get them at the right price, it's not really a gamble. I agree. Bad joke, LOL. But if he is found guilty of gambling, it's going to be a mess. He's not found guilty of gambling.
I don't know. He's doing an NCAA pool.
Who is? Ohtani?
Yeah.
You guys. Let's see. The poster, you said Devils player. I said Jack Hughes. Oh, yes,
yeah.
you're right. It is Jack Hughes. Yeah, you said the name, and I said, still didn't click. Yeah, I apologize. I'm not too keen on the current hockey players, but I did find it interesting that they put a hockey player on a poster in the magazine, so I thought that might get some extra attention. Guys, come on, you live there. Draft is April. Right. Draft is April 2025. Looking at their site, yes, you're correct. We were wrong. Charlie's right. What threw me off is the exact same thing that threw him off, because we've been getting all this information for the past probably 6 months about schools being closed and they're closing off these roads and blah, blah, blah. It did make it sound like it was this year. And I don't follow that stuff. I could care less who's going to be in the draft. I sell the cards based on a market. Just like you don't pay attention to eBay, I don't pay attention to the actual sport and the players and things like that. I pay attention to some of the media and the trends and the cards that are going up and selling and players that are hitting and that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's what threw me off too, is I was like, they kept sending this stuff home for schools and different things, and so I was assuming it was this year, I guess. Oh, that and our card show, right? They can't get the venue at KI.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but I think that might have been like meetings for the draft or something. It wasn't like the actual draft. I don't know. Whatever. It's next year, people. Detroit this year. So Eminem's going to be at the draft.
He's going to lose himself.
Eminem, not the candy. Let's see. Another hot take. People don't care about stuff sub $10, so that's why you can find it so cheap. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I do not have to beg, borrow, and steal to get those cards. I just simply have to go pick out the ones I want and purchase them. Dominguez is out till June or July. He had Tommy John. Christ, he had Tommy John too. Easy, guys. And again, don't care. I bought my 10 or 12 Dominguez cards. I've got 2 just chrome base left. I sold the Mojos. I sold the Refractors. Because I bought, like 8 or 10 of those at that one show, right, Charlie? And I was getting them for like 50 cents or $1. I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I'd buy these, anytime.
Well, sometimes this hobby can be a little short-sighted and react pretty quickly to news, and not think about the long game too.
Yeah, and just like I saw the opportunity with buying them that cheap, I bet my customers did too. They were like, hey, he only wants $3 for this Mojo card, and he'll be back in June, and he's going to be a star, so I'm going to buy it at $3. Great, I paid 20 cents for it. So I'm fine with you getting it for $3. Let's see. Do you offer international shipping on your cards? And if so, is it paying dividends? Yes, I sell a lot of cards international. I just sold one yesterday. I can't remember what card it was. I can go look. But yeah, I sell a lot of soccer. Basketball sells pretty well internationally. Non-sport. I think it was a non-sport card that I just sold international. I don't even know how to look up my international sales on eBay. I've never done that before. But yes, so the way it works is you don't actually ship the card internationally. When you print your label, you're paying just the 64 cents for the card, and you're shipping it to a location that eBay gives you, and then they have a crate, right, an international shipping crate that they just load all these packages in, and then it goes overseas. eBay does a pretty good job following up with you on what's going on with it. It'll say, hey, congratulations, your card has now left the country, on its way to the customer. I even had one where the customer claimed he didn't get it and totally covered. I shipped it to the eBay location, my part was done. So they sent me a notice saying, hey, just so you know, this customer says they didn't get the card, but don't worry, you don't have to do anything. You're fully covered. Just wanted to let you know. So why not? Why wouldn't you participate in that if it helps you get another sale without any extra work? Basically, from when I look at it, for me, it's just like looking at shipping it to any other customer in the U.S. I'm just shipping it to a U.S. address.
I agree. And I also don't know how to see just my international orders. I was just looking around a little bit.
Yeah,
But
I've never tried to do that.
I think I've only had one like legit international order. The rest have been like Canada and close countries. But there was one that was like China or Australia or England. I sold one to England a month ago. That's what it was.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to look it up by international. That's weird. You think there'd be a way to do that?
Yeah.
Buyer name. Yeah, if somebody knows how to do that, post that in here because I'd be interested in that actually. Custom label. Oh my god, I have so many orders. It would take me 3 days to look through this stuff.
Yeah, you
try
had
to find that.
Just scanning through it.
Yeah, I thought maybe I would just stumble upon it because I had one yesterday, but I had 100 and some orders to ship, so it'd still take me forever. Baseball card curmudgeon is with us. Thanks for joining us tonight. He tore his elbow last season. I'm assuming you're referring to
Dominguez, yeah.
Dominguez. I think I'm signed up for international listings, but I haven't sold anything further than Puerto Rico, which isn't considered international. No, Puerto Rico is just a stamp. Yeah, I meant to ask you, Weston, did you get your package from me with your Rowdy card in it?
I know he got mine. I didn't have a patch for him though. I think I gave him an electric orange big league Rowdy card in there.
Oh, nice.
That's all I can find a Rowdy in everything I have here.
I was shocked when I went through like the 50 cent. There wasn't that many cards in there, maybe 30 cards, patch cards, and they were all 50 cents. And I was like, oh my god, there's a Rowdy in here. I have to buy this. So, and I mean, I probably paid like 30 cents by the time I got my deal or whatever. So, yeah. I mean, that's a no-brainer for pick up for somebody. CY wants to know, what is your preferred cards to buy and sell, and what is your bread and butter? So I could answer this very generically and say ones that I can buy for less than what I can sell them for. But that'd be too cheesy, I guess. I really like cards of players that have had long careers that have good hobby. I was trying to think about this the other day, actually. So it's kind of fun that you brought this up. I think one of the reasons I like to buy players that have been around or had long careers is because you get a lot more variety in cards because they have 16 or 20 years of cards that had been made,
Yeah.
right? So you can sell 15 different Nolan Ryan cards to somebody because he's got probably 20 some thousand cards out there. So I like that part.
From 32 different teams.
Right. No, that's Ricky Henderson.
Him and Ricky Henderson, yeah.
But I think that's why those are my favorite cards to buy and sell. I can buy a nice big lot of them because they have so many cards out there. So I can buy a big lot and still have a ton of variety in it. I can buy a 100-card lot of Nolan Ryan for $25 or whatever it is, and then just have good variety of lit. Jeter is a good example. Favre, Brady, all these guys with these long careers. Those are definitely my preferred cards to buy and sell. A lot of times when you buy those bigger lots too, you'll get some good inserts thrown in, maybe a couple numbered cards. You can squeeze some extra value out of those versus if I buy a Jason Dominguez numbered card right now, it's going to be a premium because he's a hot prospect, and he doesn't have that many cards out there. So those would by far be my bread and butters. I have my certain players that Jeter is insane. I'll sell like 100 Derek Jeter cards a week. It's crazy. The stuff just turns so fast.
Yeah, and you sell so much more Jeter than me. Like I have plenty of Jeter options. I sold a couple the other day. I guess maybe I'm starting to come around, but I've had them for quite a while, and I've been surprised I haven't sold more.
But I stock a couple thousand though too. So
true.
If you have bigger,
have tens of cards, for Jeter.
Right. So I have more options and I have quantity and stuff like that.
But I offer them practically free because he's such a nobody. Now my Robin Young cards, on the other hand.
Joe is here. Hey, Joe, have you ever thought about being a co-host on a live show on Wednesday nights? Because I'm looking for one. Do you by chance have a pet?
I think you have a man crush on Derek Jeter.
Do you by chance have a pet snake or a goat or something that you can bring on the show?
Did I insult your honor going after your man crush, Derek Jeter?
He's the man. He's the man. Prove that he's not. A little late, but what up, boys? Welcome to the show. Happy to have you. Good thing you came in late. We had technical difficulties, so you didn't miss as much.
That's what Adam said.
Oh, his interpreter got canned because of gambling, unless that was fake. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I didn't hear.
I haven't heard anything about. I haven't heard anything about it, but whatever. I don't think it affects Shohei. So, I thought Shohei's mom controlled his money. Maybe the interpreter put in requests on Shohei's behalf without his knowledge. Just thinking how he could have stole his money without Shohei knowing.
Sounds like drama.
Yeah, that's what I think too. It sounds like an internal issue. Weston says he did. He got both of them, both our orders. Thank you so much. Awesome. So somebody messaged me the other day on eBay and they said, "Oh, didn't you see I gave you positive feedback?" And I'm like, "No, I don't look at those." So I get like 200 a day, so no, I don't dig through all the feedback. I appreciate it. Thank you. If you did, but yeah, I don't see those. Good evening. Scott is here. I was starting to wonder if I should reduce my promoted percent to a minimum of 2%. I was at a dynamic up to 11%, but that 11% really hits me hard on some higher dollar cards. You could. I mean, you might have less sales, so a small profit's better than no profit. But it depends on if you want to move volume or not. If you're not looking to move volume and you have a few cards you can sit on, sure, drop your percentage.
Yeah, I just don't know if I had higher dollar cards, I'm more reluctant to promote them. Like if they're a nice card that's got a much higher price point, I feel like at some point I'll find my buyer.
Right.
And it's usually going to be a name that's pretty well known, right? Like it's not going to be Joe Smith, when we talk about cards like that, your autos that you'll buy for less than $1 because you made a deal with yourself, I mean, that's a different story. But if I've got a Cal Ripken auto that I've got $175 on, do I need someone to promote that? Probably not.
Charlie, you're not going to believe this, but hold on. I'm gonna take you off the stage for a second. This is the top card on my to be listed tomorrow pile. It's a Joe Smith. Did you see that?
Yep, Joe Smith.
You're like, what the hell? He just said Joe Smith. It's the top card on my pile right now. That and my autographed Haven Moses card I got for a dime.
Well, that's interesting.
Still haven't decided what to do with that. Yeah, I got that at the National. Looks like a real signature when I looked at other ones online, but
Yeah.
1971 tops. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't think the promoted bothers me that much because I price higher. So I feel like that value gets built in, and I don't know. Weston says, if you don't make it to the Madison show on the 30th, my positive feedback might somehow turn to a negative. Funny you should mention that. I am going to be at the Madison show on the 30th. I decided. We don't have a show here until the 20th of April, and I got some time on the 30th, so I'm going to head down to Madison. I asked Charlie. Charlie's got family in town. So I'll be going down with my buddy Brian. Most of you know him. Cardboard Critters is what he goes by on YouTube. And we're going to hit that show. I haven't been there since June of last year, I think. No, October. October. It was October.
Okay.
So quite a few months ago, and I always find good buys there. And I need some puffy inventory, some fresh. I have plenty of stuff to list, but none of it is pop off the page type stuff. So I have a lot of non-sport. I'm going to try to finish that up this week before I get the scanner back. And then I have a big box of scanning stuff that I'm going to throw through. And then hopefully pick up some really good stuff in Madison. I always do very well at that show. There's a bit of a non-sport appearance there. A lot of Pokemon too, which I don't do, but just decent variety. I picked up some soccer there before, so I'm looking to get some good finds there. So you can leave my feedback positive and change Charlie's to negative. Okay.
And Bo should be there too, right?
Well, I would hope so. He's running the show. I'd
Is it-
say I'd change your feedback to negative, and I'd put on there, "How dare you? ... Derek Jeter." Scott has any experience with a lower percentage? No. I put it on dynamic, and I've never changed it, and I don't feel like messing with it.
I started with lower percentages because I was pinching every penny. And I really, looking back on it, I feel like those lower percentages made no difference for me. Like they didn't help my sales at all.
Yeah, in order to truly stay competitive, you have to spend. It's almost like paying per click, only you only pay when it sells. So it's actually a pretty good deal. From the world of selling on the internet where it's not eBay and you're paying per click or you're paying for advertising, it's a lot more expensive over there and you're not even guaranteed a sale.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know if that makes you feel better or not, but it's actually a pretty decent deal even at 11%. Just price the 11% into your card, right? So if you're going to charge $10 for a card, price it at $11.50 or something like that. And then when you pay that 11% to eBay, you're still getting your $10 on your sale. That'd be my suggestion, but all right, Scotty Dubs is here. Welcome to the show. I love the show. I'm usually busy every Wednesday night, but I'm able to catch live today. Awesome. Happy to have you here. Just over 2,000 listings, and watching has been a huge help with what to list and buy. Thanks.
Very
Awesome.
nice.
That's the whole goal here. If you're not on the Discord, Scotty, make sure you join the Discord. It's a great group that we regularly have conversations on different topics. We got a pretty good amount of channels built in there now. I try to add one here or there as I see things come up that seem like they warrant a separate discussion thread. But there should be some places for you to show stuff off, ask what's buying and selling, post pictures, ask questions, things like that. But yeah, obviously every Wednesday night we're live at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I have this YouTube channel. Charlie has his YouTube channel. What's your YouTube channel again?
JC3 Cards and Clips.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Jeter C3 Cards and Coins.
It looks like this.
Oh yeah, there it is. I'm just kidding.
It's actually eBay.
I know what it is. It's hard to do that. Which way am I pointing?
It is. You have to remember it's reversed all the time.
Let's see. Frank has joined us. Welcome to the show. I watched your sales day video earlier. I noticed I have quite a few of the same cards you sold. Cards I didn't think would sell. Guess I should list them. LOL.
I will tell you though, just because you have the same cards doesn't mean you'll have the same success. Every store's got some different sweet spots, it seems. Adam and I talk about that all the time. We can have the same cards. He'll sell 20 of them in a month, and I'll sell 0. And then it'll be flip-flopped. I'll sell a bunch of one card that he's got, and he doesn't move them at all. It's weird.
Yeah, it's just a matter of catching the buyer, I'm kind of trying to explain that to my mom and my sisters who've never participated really in real estate before, with selling this house. Like, they had 15 showings in a day. Well, how come nobody wants to buy it? And it's like, well, it's a big purchase. Like, you just have to get the right person in there that wants to buy the house. Like, it's not, you could sell it to the first person who looks at the house. That does happen. You could not sell it until the last person looks at the house. It's just how it is. Also, you have to look at the size of things too, right? Like, I got a pretty big store. I've been around a long time. I have a ton of cards in there. I have a pretty sizable regular customer base that buys from me on a regular basis. You might just not have those connections yet. It takes some time to build some of that. So whereas I can sell a 1991 Fleer baseball base card, that might not be something that's, that feasible for you at this time. So be patient with it, build it over time. And Charlie's right. You have to find out what is your thing, I have a lot of buyers that come to me just for Sports Illustrated for Kids cards because I have an immense supply of them. And there aren't that many sellers that, sell them in quantity. So, find out what works for you.
And that's not to say don't take that information and say, oh, there is a buyer for that I never thought of before. Because we also talk about there's a buyer for everything. It's just a matter of hooking up with them. But what I'm stressing is don't overdo it. Don't barge right into something. It's great if you want to expand your store into some different offerings you never thought would sell before. Just don't do it expecting that I'm going to list 20 of these tomorrow, and by the end of the week, based on what Adam's doing, they'll all be sold. It's not quite typically going to work that way.
Yeah. And sometimes it's based on the listing, right? So the only reason I sold 20 is because I had 20 listed and 1 sold. Mm-hmm. And now it gets pushed
in the algorithm.
Right. So sometimes it's you need to get that first one in order to get that spark. And that's kind of brings up, since we're kind of here on this right now, and bring up one of the other topics we had for tonight, and that's listing doesn't guarantee sales, right? So we talk about our listing numbers in the Discord. We've got a thread on there about, hey, how many listings are you at? And I think it's a good way to show some growth of your store, but it doesn't show success of your store or the sales of your store.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to be confusing that that's a measurement of how well your business is going, because it's not. It's a measurement of growth, which generally is a positive thing, but if you're not getting sales, it doesn't mean a whole lot. So don't look at everything as, hey, I don't have these cards listed, I should just go list them. It's not going to guarantee you a sale. That's exactly what we're saying right now. Weston says he sells at 2%, doesn't have a problem, but Adam and Charlie swear on dynamic. We do, yeah.
plus, how are you going to manage that when you start to get a large amount of listings? Like, are you going to constantly be changing it yourself?
The answer is no, Charlie.
I know.
I will not be doing any such thing. That's what. Okay, so here's my take on Dynamic. Yeah, some of the rates are a little bit higher, but that's generally because it's a card that's competitively selling, right? So that it figures that out for you. You don't have to go do all that homework, and I like that part. The other thing is, it's going to constantly adjust as the market adjusts, right? So let's say you're selling Jason Dominguez cards, and now they're not as popular anymore, and there's less sellers pushing for promotion. Your rate's going to go down. Now you're not overpaying for that promotion. It's going to keep you where you need to be competitive. I know there's a lot of people that are the conspiracy theory side of that, right? Like, oh, sure, they're going to drop it. eBay just charges you, this much more so they can get the money. I don't really think that benefits them, to be honest with you. Not in the case of a promoted listing, because they can't force someone to buy the card, right? So they still want to be able to put the things in front of. Remember, they're mostly there for the buyers, not the sellers. Don't kid yourself. And if they don't have buyers, there's no market for them. So they're going to want to, put the promotions out for the things that the buyers want to buy. And that's when those rates will go up, because they're going, hey, we can get buyers for these cards. We're going to promote it. So
Right.
I don't know. I like how the Dynamic figures it out. Sometimes I get one that's really low, and I'm like, what? I had one sell yesterday or 2 days ago. 4% was my rate. So now let's say I just put a flat 10% across the board. I'd have paid 10% for that promotion. Right? Why would you want to do that? So I like the Dynamic. It just charges me what is appropriate in order to get me a sale.
But we don't use it for brand new listings. We give it some time to breathe before we put it on there.
That's correct. It's a good point, Charlie. Let's see. Charlie, did your postal friend decide they did not want to be on the show?
Yeah, I had to let that one go. I think maybe the shop steward said, not a good idea. So that kind of backed off, which is okay. I think we still had some good discussions about it off camera that we shared with the group in a live a couple weeks ago. So and Adam did the same with some contacts he had. So it's okay. It's not for everybody being up here with a goat and Derek Jeter talk.
Well, yeah, and I think Charlie's right. I think we kind of got what we got. I think we kind of got what we needed out of it without having her on the show. Yeah. It totally resolved any issue that I was having. Mm-hmm. I found a solution. It's not my favorite solution, but I understand the solution. I've changed the way I package a little bit. I really watch my thickness closer now, because I know they're not actually measuring them. They're going by pinches. And it's like, well, that's going to be different for everybody. So now if I have 7 cards where I know I can fit 7 cards in one of these and it's under 1/4 of an inch, pushing it. So now I'll take 4 in this one and 3 in this one, and I'll spend the 88 cents instead of the 64 cents, 22 cents, big deal.
If you have tiny, dainty hands, 1/4 inch feels like 2 inches.
Right, exactly. It's like, I always measured everything by how many cookies I could hold at one time, But that, for me, that's like this, and like for my kid, it's like this. So, yeah, I think it's just trying to kind of use use that little bit of knowledge we did get from us. We had a postal carrier who posted some thoughts on our channel about, what they see on their end or what causes them an alarm, for additional postage. But since then, and that was like mid-January, I haven't had a single issue. So, yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, she wasn't able to be on the show. Okay, sounds great. Just Charlie and negative. Perfect. I agree. You got to put something about Jeter in there, though. And then you need to screenshot it and put it in the Discord or something. Scott says he's going to try 2%. Go for it. You can always change it. So try it. Just see how it goes. And if you don't like it, you can always switch back. Well, how about that? It's like looking in a mirror. I no longer promote every card I list. The ones I do is at 2%. No longer take best offer on cards, $3 and under. My sales this year have more than doubled. So there you go. Yeah, if that's working for you, do it. Let's see. I do dynamic. Flipping Sports Card guys here. Thanks for joining us. I do dynamic, and one card can sell at 5%, the next 14%, and the next 8%. Constantly adjust. Exactly. That's why I like the dynamic. It's just going to cost me whatever it takes to be in the market. That's why I've always done the 7 cards to be safe. 4 and 3 go with 2 ounce. Yes. He's referring to packaging in the 2. So we're on the same page on all those things. Frank says, since I just purchased a store yesterday, how do you change quantity on a listing? Don't see that option in item specifics. If you go
pricing section.
Yeah, or if you just go to your listings, if you're on the desktop, if you go to your listings, there's literally a quantity column. You can just go in and change all the quantities. Otherwise you're gonna have to look up the listing and then revise it. And Charlie's right, it's in the pricing section. You have to pull a little arrow. If you're on the app, you have to pull a little arrow down, and then it'll let you change the quantity. Let's see. Flipping Sports guys, have you ever turned off promoter, gone down to 2%, see if it really lowers sales? Hey, Frank, quantity is in the pricing. Yep. I reset my promotions every few days, so I have had days that go without promotions and notice a difference across the board in impressions, views, and sales. Oh, your impressions will go for sure. Sales, it's subjective because you might find the buyer. So you have to remember that you're not paying promotions on every sale. If you are, you're not doing it right. You should be getting a lot of organic sales. You should have customers that come back to buy from you that aren't clicking on promoted links. And I'm probably 40% promoted, 60% not promoted sales. If you look at my sales day videos, you'll see that. There's days where it's more and there's days where it's less. It is how it is. But
yeah,
you can do your own promotions to get your own sales without the promoted sales. You can send coupons, send the newsletter, send a direct coupon to a customer, whatever you got to do. If you want to do some of the work yourself, you can get out of the promoted price altogether. 2% is just a waste of time to me. I got to say, I kind of agree. I don't think you're putting yourself in front of anybody doing that, but.
When I first started, I was doing 8% usually. And like I said, I just didn't feel like I saw a consistent amount of impact from that like I have once I switch it to dynamic.
Yeah.
And the thing that amazes me still is the vast majority of my sales are still non-promoted listings.
Right.
Let me rephrase that. They may be promoted listings. They are not paying the promoted fee because they're gone to organically.
Right. Yeah, mine are promoted too. They're just not using a promoted link to buy it.
So they may see a promoted listing, go to my store, but then buy something different.
Right. All right. Weston says, I wouldn't mind a vid on all the supplies you use and affiliate links. I need to find a solid spot for top loaders and rigids for 5 cents a piece. 5 cents is pushing it a little bit. I can get pretty close to that. Yeah, I could do a vid on supplies again. I think I did one a while ago, but it has been a while. I'm looking for some video ideas, so that's not a bad one. I'll try that. I've got some non-sport content I want to put out. Try to build that area a little bit of the channel. Got some really interesting non-sport stuff past few days. I'm kind of waiting for the rest of it to come in. I've got all my piles here, but I've got two more orders coming in. I want to have enough to do a video. So that'll be next, and then yeah, I can do supplies video. I should really work on affiliate links. I hear that a lot, and I don't really have any, and I should. But But I do have places where I buy those supplies pretty regularly. Top loads I generally don't buy. I just get them from card buys and I reuse them. I like free supplies. That's my favorite. So, but I found a pretty good deal on sleeves at a half a cent a piece, which I haven't found any better deal than that. So yeah, I can do that. Let's see. Outside of eBay, I do pretty well with my own Facebook group and also other sports card forums. Have you looked into this? I have not. I don't know. I don't like the, oh, can I PayPal you? Can I Venmo you? Can I, then you got a coin and vouch. And I'm selling, a card like this Joe Smith card. I don't know how much buzz I'm going to get in a tiny Facebook group for a card like that versus just throw it on eBay and forget about it. And when, I've got 28 million eyes looking at it, eventually someone's going to want it and they just buy it. I'm done. I don't even care if eBay charges me something. That doesn't really bother me that much because I figure that into my margin. So I have it. No, if I had a real banger of a card, right? Like let's say I'm going to throw a big one out at you guys. It's going to make your head explode. Oh no, that's not the right one. Where did that go? Let's do this one over here. Something really huge, really rare, right? Then I think that's a little different. Then I think you want to really look at, maybe getting it to a, you don't necessarily need to pay eBay, I guess, to sell it, is what I'm trying to get at. Let's say you've got, I'm trying to think, I've got a card here numbered 5, I think. Oh, here, I'll just say this one. So not the greatest card, but you'll get the idea. So this is a 1-of-1 Brett Favre printing plate, right? I'm the only one who has this card in the magenta plate, the 1-of-1. That might be something where I could throw it on an eBay Facebook group of Brett Favre card traders and could get an instant sale and not have any fees to get it out. But will I get as much money selling it on eBay? What I've heard from others selling in Facebook groups is that A, nobody wants to buy. B, everybody wants like 60% of comps. So you're selling it for less than eBay anyway. Like I guess I just don't see what you're really gaining. You're saving on the fees, but you're taking less money for the card. I don't see the gain. So that's kind of my take on it. If you're having success with it, great. You go where you got to go. But Charlie and I were talking earlier, kind of another one of our topics now. We were talking about Whatnot, and he's been having some fun shopping on Whatnot. I just have a hard time as a seller seeing myself on there because I just don't know that I'd be able to move enough stuff. And it is a commitment. Like you have to be live on there and talk it up, and you have to preload all your items. So you still have to list them like you would on eBay. 10 seconds. Who's going to buy this Joe Smith electric court card? I'm not going to sell this. Nobody's going to be, I even have a little bit of a social media audience. I've got all you guys. I'd probably get maybe 10 or 15 viewers on a Whatnot stream. But are the 10 or 15 of you looking at it going to buy this card? Probably not. You see what I'm saying? And then I'd have to find somebody who would want multiple cards because you're not going to buy this card for $1 and then pay $4.95 for shipping. You're going to want to buy more than one card. So you could do lots, but just low end on there, it's just tough. It's a tough gig. Your thoughts, Charlie? I'm pretty quiet over there.
Yeah, I was doing some research here while we were talking. I cheated and looked ahead at the next chat. So, the Facebook sales just makes me nervous from past experiences on Facebook. As I've met people at dark places where I didn't feel comfortable taking my family and things like that. So, So yeah, I don't like that. I have looked at other card sellers, and I think there's some possibilities there. There certainly are other successful platforms, but I still feel like eBay's the king. And then Whatnot is kind of the hip, in vogue platform that I'm trying to learn more about and research. And I see some possibilities there. It's a merging of entertainment and sales, whereas eBay is pure sales, right? But what I see on Whatnot are characters, and there's music, there's different promotional ideas that happen, there's spur of the moment things that happen that you only will know if you're there. So I think I think I understand why Whatnot is becoming so successful and so popular, and I think they're going to continue to grow. Now, that said, browsing around, just doing research, there are really good sellers, and there are really poor sellers that that don't do a good job. So you have to spend a little time out there really figuring out what's your lane. But they do a good job with their search functions. So I think there are other options than eBay, but it's like many other things we talk about in this. It's really about personal preference.
Yeah, and I think for me as a buyer, and I'm a good eBay buyer, so I guess I don't feel like I have to use, like, if you struggle to buy on eBay, well, maybe that's not the right platform for you, and then Whatnot makes more sense. But I tried to I told you I was going to spend a little time on there today, and I did, and I tried to kind of find some shows I would be interested in, and then, like, one of them was at 4 o'clock today. I'm like, well, that doesn't work for me. So it's like, now I got to sit around and wait for this show to start, and I don't know if they're going to have it. I don't even know if they're going to have any cards in there that I'm going to want. So I just don't like that. If I want to buy, like, I'm running low on Jeter stuff, I need a big Jeter lot, I go to eBay, I type in Derek Jeter card lot, boom, they're all right there. I pick out the one I want and I hit buy, or I bid on it, or whatever. Like, I need to do something when I need to do it, and that's where I think if you're looking at it, like you said, as content and entertainment, the other thing that really kind of ticks me off about Whatnot, and this is, I get it, the platform is to try to make sales, but you can't monetize your content. So they're basically stealing all your creativity, and you get nothing for it. So, okay, you sell the card, great, but they're getting paid for all of your the data you're collecting, and the video you're making and all that stuff. And I kind of don't like that. So, but Charlie's right. It's absolutely a personal thing, and you have to do what works for you.
And the one thing I didn't necessarily expect that I'm finding as I spend more time in it this week is that I can somewhat mimic a card show experience in certain streams. Not everyone. I have to kind of hunt and peck at the type of auctions I want to participate in, but there are the ones that I've been participating in. I make bulk buys, one by one, or I like to find streamers that will mix in some lots at times, and I swoop in and buy those up. And it's a lot like a card show in that I'm getting exactly what I wanted. I'm cherry picking what they're offering, and I'm buying in bulk, and then I'm getting the group shipping rate on it. And so that's kind of fun. And you're chatting like we do here as you're going through the auction. So there's possibility there. And Adam, I think as sellers, I think there's possibilities as well, but we would have to really zero in on what's our strategy. What are we looking to do?
Yeah, I think what I like about the card show is I get to look through all the cards, and okay, I see a quarter box or a dollar box in front of me, right? And let's say Whatnot has a $1 card show, and they're selling them one by one, right? Just like you'd get one card for $1 out of a $1 box at a show. But I don't get a chance to sort of try to accumulate my buy
Mhm.
and then get a discount on that buy. You know what I'm saying? You're still paying $1 per card.
That's
You're
true.
not getting a discount that way. And let's say a card pops up and I'm like, awesome, I can buy that card and I can resell it. I'm going to buy it. Well, now what if I don't find any other cards in the stream?
Yep.
Now I got to pay $4.95 to ship that one card. So I just feel like I could get stuck, in some situations.
And that's why I like to find streamers that are mixing in some lots, because if they start bidding at $1 on a 3 to 5 card lot, now I'm starting to bring down the overall price of my purchase.
Agreed. Yes, I would say is something that. But again, you don't know if that stream is going to have any lots.
True.
You don't know what's going to be in the lot. So you're sitting there waiting for it. You're watching the show, and I don't know that I want to shop that way. I like to just go look for what I want.
And that's the key thing. I think it comes down to the buyer experience you're looking for. For me,
Right.
I've been running it on the side while I'm listing and shipping. Oh,
Right.
that's a card I'd be interested in. Let me look a little closer at the screen on this one.
Sure.
You know, so I'm not saying these are the specific cards I want. You know?
I think as a seller, it's kind of like being a content creator, right? You got to let it grow a bit, and then you'll get more sales. There's a few YouTubers I watch. Have you ever heard of Harry Tornado?
No.
Okay, he's a guy I've been watching for a long time, like since day one of his channel when he was just selling stuff out of his garage. Now he's big timer, so he buys like stuff at Goodwill and flips it and that kind of thing, right? Well, he does almost all his sales on Whatnot now because he's got like 80,000 viewers on his YouTube channel. So he just goes on YouTube and he's like, hey, we're doing a Whatnot live in 2 hours. Here's some of the stuff we got and blah, blah, blah. So he has like this huge advertising, free advertising source to get people to his show. And a lot of people just buy it because they can buy it from Harry Tornado, to some degree. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a key to it. I would sell that way if I was him too, because he's going to get the sales without having to, wade through eBay and sit there until you get you can just go, hey, I need an audience now. I have stuff, and then boom, here's your audience. Okay, here's one for you, one for you, one for you. Everybody pay me.
Yeah.
Because I am a registered seller with Whatnot. You have to take a class, and like it's a whole thing. So it's definitely something I've looked into. I looked into the fees, and you don't really save anything off of eBay. And that high up shipping part is the one that kind of kills me. I love offering free shipping. To me, that's a huge benefit to what we sell. And I will say this, if Whatnot comes up with like a standard envelope program or you can offer free shipping type of, if they come up with something like that, that would really push me to have a regular show and do some cards on there.
Yeah. You can offer free shipping.
Right, but but they still have to pay the $4.95, right?
Well, yeah. I don't know what the seller is actually paying.
Right.
But you as a seller, you can offer free. Yeah. I don't know what kind of discounted metered mail type of program they might have.
You have to send it as a package.
Okay.
So it'd be like 3 something minimum.
Yeah, most of the streams I've looked at are $3.66 to $4 they're charging for shipping. Yeah. Yeah,
they're just charging you that, ground advantage rate.
Yeah.
For a card. The now defunct listings quality report always had the top sellers in the under $3 singles at 7 to 8% promoted rate.
Yeah, that's what I was researching because I look at that occasionally and I was like, that's defunct, but I just pulled it up. It's still there.
Yeah, I thought it was still there too. So I haven't looked at it in a while, but I haven't heard that it was defunct. Report is working again. Oh, and the top sellers are 1 to 3, averaged at 8%. That's a good tip though. You're right. That is out there if anybody wants to look at that. How do I see promoted versus organic? I can only see it in a daily graph. Well, once you get a sale, it will tell you if it was sold via promoted. My listings are all promoted other than very brand new ones. Well, I think what we were referring to before is just because it is promoted doesn't necessarily mean it's sold. and had to pay a promoted rate. That's only if the promotion was needed. Not to discourage you from Whatnot, but it seems to be more mid-high-end stuff in auctions, exactly. But maybe I'm wrong. I do a break every once in a while on Whatnot just for fun, but that's it. Yeah, that's exactly right. They don't have a way to really, in my opinion, in my experience, they don't really have a great way to get sellers for low end because they don't have a good shipping program. Unless you have, like I said, unless you have a big audience you can bring over there of people who are just going to buy stuff because they want to support you. But that's kind of a whole other angle, though. I know all love this show, so please let's hit that like button, as they only have 11 likes and there are 29 people watching. Please.
Thanks, Joe.
We would appreciate it. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, likes matter, sharing, when this video is done, send it to somebody you think would dig the show. We do, have it saved and available for viewing once the live is over. And invite people to join us live. So we got a pretty good group on the Discord. I was going to post today that we are live tonight, and I forgot. So kind of on me on that one, but try to remind everybody on there once a week to join us. Frank says he sells quite a bit on Mercari. I haven't touched any of that with cards. Honestly, I was thinking about this a little bit today, Charlie. Honestly, I don't know if I want another platform to sell on. I am full-time and busting my ass on selling a crap ton of cards and trying to keep up with filling orders, and I still have 27,000 listings I can put on yet.
Yeah.
And, at this selling level, I've got cards out my butt. I'm going to shows. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Like, I don't really need a Whatnot show. I don't need to sell cards any faster. I'll put my promotions on. I'll send my coupon. I'll do my things that generates that business for me on eBay, and then that pretty much covers it for me. So, and I make YouTube content, and it's like, do I want to start adding on a live Whatnot show and just trickle down a few? And I mean, these cards, my cards I sell are mainly $1, right? So let's say I have 60 of these cards on here. I mean, the max I'm going to make on that show is like $60 anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not, and I don't see a point in bringing the hot cards on there. I can sell them just as, fast, if not faster, on eBay for a better price.
Yeah.
Because I have that wide audience, so I'm not going to go on there and be like, hey, Jason Dominguez is the in thing here, $1, great. I got $1 for it. I could have got, and it's also auction. You're screwed. If you start that at $1 thinking it's going to go to $6 and it sells at $1,
yeah,
I'll just go to eBay and charge $6. Let it sit there till I find a buyer. So, that's kind of I'm still, now, I poo-pooed the scanner. I poo-pooed the Car Dealer Pro. I can eat my crow and say, yep, and to be honest with you, things changed to make me change in that direction, including you wanting to be a part of it. That did influence me. Because if you remember, I brought up the scanner first a while ago.
You did.
And I said, hey, let's just split it. And you weren't ready for that at that time, but I started looking more into Car Dealer Pro. The 2.0 program is much better. It added soccer cards, which I love having help listing soccer cards because they're a pain in the butt. So many teams, so many names you can't spell and pronounce, so many leagues. It's crazy. So scan them, done. Once I get non-sport cards, forget it. It's over. The scanner is a must for me. So anyway, the point of that is I'm not opposed to, adding some platforms in the future. Maybe when I max out 66,000 at eBay, boom, that's my time I need to start looking somewhere else because it's going to cost me more if I add to eBay anyway,
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I'm only a little over halfway where I can be at my size on eBay. And if I double where I'm at now, I'm not selling anywhere else. Not unless I'm hiring people.
Yeah.
I had somebody message me earlier this week and said, I don't know how you guys can do these listings. I have 2,000 listings and I can't keep up. And I'm like, I remember I told you that. I said, you're like, oh, I have 2,000. And I'm like, the show has begun, buddy. You're going to be packing and shipping every available minute you got. And you're going to start hearing from your kids and your wife. And you're going to, it just compounds. So, start Whatnot shows and see how they go. But if you think you're going to be running 4 or 5 platforms you're selling cards on at one time, and honestly, I'd rather put my next selling platform. The next one I would really like to do is my own website. That's the greatest way to sell your own products because you don't have anybody, you don't have a middleman. So I'd rather work on building my Shopify store over anything else.
Yeah, I can see that.
So if I don't have an audience on Whatnot and I don't have an audience on my own website, I'd rather work on building my website. If I can get people there. I found promoted versus organic on the performance tab. I'm at around 30%. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know there was a tab. Well, there must be because I got a percent too, so it must have been where I got it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're at 30% organic. Now that's not that bad. So you have to think about that, right? So even if you're at 10 or 11% on your promoted, for example, you're still only doing that 70% of the time. The other 30% is your own sales. I think what matters is moving cards quicker with higher dynamic percent rate than waiting more months to find the right buyer at 2% or not promoted. Going to lower to 2 and run for a week if sales are lousy. I'll go back to dynamic. Perfect. I don't cap either. I just put it at dynamic and I let it go. Nice Scott, I'm at about 50-50 and I capped my dynamic at 14. We'll both do the opposite of each other and see how it goes. Regroup on the next stream. That's a great idea. That's actually a really good idea for a little scientific project here to see how it does going from one side to the other. I didn't know you could cap dynamic. Yeah, I don't cap anything. Let's do it and see. Whatnot is great if you need quick cash. That's the problem. You have to sell lower. That's my take on it. Although Charlie's right. If you're a buyer, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And that's the place you want to be. Also, I did see a stream with an envelope shipping in one of the ones I was in a few days ago.
Okay.
Did see a stream with an envelope shipping.
Probably PWE.
Yeah, I would assume so. I guess you can cap it. Mine was 11%. Rarely did I not pay 11%. Kind of annoying. Yeah, most of them are 11% or more, actually. Hey guys, B-Dub from Discord. Welcome, Brandon. Thanks for joining us. Seller status reevaluated today. Back to top-rated seller. Nice.
All right.
Sales are pouring in with promoted listings back since my last mail cases were resolved. That's great to hear. I'm so happy for you. Keep it going. Give us a thumbs up too if you're enjoying the live. I think this is your first time here. Yeah, the report was dead for most of January and February. I guess it was normal eBay technical difficulties, or people complained and brought it back. Thanks for a few of you chiming in with feedback and helping in the Discord. Also, with Whatnot, be super wary of trusted sellers and condition of cards because some people are very deceptive. That's the other thing I've heard is that's not like that's a sketchy place to do business.
Yeah, I don't know. We hear lots of breaker stories too from supposedly reputable breakers too. So I think that's
true.
anywhere.
True. Yeah, that's a very good point. So my Facebook group is a private group that I run. eBay is the king, but West Virginia, Ohio State, and red cards I sell for 300 to 500% profit. Jeez. But this is building up my page that, it's still like 5x, basically, is what he's saying.
So maybe we should sell Packers cards on Facebook.
I guess. Because I have so many of those.
You do?
But this is building up my page that I own. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, if you can do it and get out of the fees and you're comfortable in it, go for it. And if it's private, that's not so bad because you're limiting who's in there doing the transactions. Scott has 3.5K listings and just lowered everything to 2%. We'll let it ride through the weekend.
All right.
Well, good luck with that, Scott. Let us know how it goes. This was the card I was looking for earlier. This was my big banger that would make the head explode. But I forgot I put it in one of my boxes over there. That's why I went to go get it.
Tossing it around.
Just tossing it around. So, the cold's starting to sink in for the night, talking too much. So that was what we had for tonight. Did we have any other topics? I'm trying to think here. I'm going to my live.
Yeah, we talked about Whatnot. We talked about we didn't talk about the upcoming big league release.
Oh yeah, I was shocked it sold out. Were you shocked?
You know, I kind of was, because it gets the last couple of years it gets kind of disrespected, right? Or at least last year. You know, collectors kind of poo-poo it. Oh, it's just a kid's set and stuff like that. And you and I were like, okay, well, we're just big kids. This is fun. Like, I enjoy opening up those boxes. It's fun designs and stuff, and they sold well.
Yep.
So it's interesting to see the turnaround this year and see it selling out. Now, that said, I have no doubt our LCSs in town are going to have plenty of them on hand for us.
Yeah, I'll probably buy some at a show. That's kind of what I did last year. I bought a couple boxes here or there. I was getting them for 25 or 30 bucks. They were awesome.
Yeah.
And
I think
great inserts, cards look nice.
Yeah, they're what, like $50 on release day?
Probably. I wouldn't buy anything on release day anyway, but I know some like to do that, rip it right away and flip it, and I don't really do that, but you can't do it with Card Dealer Pro, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
They won't be in there, so you're going to have to do them one by one.
Unless I want to be the first one to put them in their database so they can start building upon it.
Great. Do that so that when I get to it, I can just scan them.
Yeah.
No, at 25, 30 bucks a box, there's going to be plenty of money in there. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. There's not going to be any big banger cards in there likely, so I don't think it's something I have to get to day one. But yeah, I sold a ton of those 8-bit baller inserts. I sold a couple of the mascots this week. The foil parallels do pretty good. I really like the cereal box cartoon ones. Those were cool.
And the big leaguers, like the trout fish one.
Yeah, that and the nameplates where it's like, you know.
Yeah, my name is Judge. Yeah.
Graffiti on the Ruth one kills me. I love that card. Yeah, way underrated set. You and I said that all last year, and then boom, the pre-order comes out, sold out. So it's kind of fun. It's good to see people buying cards. That's always a positive, no matter what. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I'll be able to go to a show and they'll have a stack of them on a table somewhere at 25, 30 bucks a box, and I'll buy a box or two and have some fun with it. And list them from there. I did get I think out of the hobby, I got 2 numbered cards too, I believe.
Oh, really?
So I thought that was kind of nice. I wasn't expecting any. I think I got 2. I bought 2 hobby boxes. And I think I got 2 numbered cards out of each one, but I don't know. I could be wrong. But I did get some nice color, those blue foils, and then what were they? Orange? I think it was an orange.
The electric orange,
yeah, the electric orange, and just awesome cards. Way underrated. I'd still rather buy those than like Top Series 1 or something.
Yeah.
And they're cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, they were. We'll see what happens this year now that the pre-order is sold out.
Yeah.
You know,
Now
we're gonna make this
products.
But to me, it's so 90s. Like 8-bit ballers, that's just fantastic. That's something we would, unfortunately, we would have seen like a Chrome version or something of that probably in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll do that with that product. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I plan to pick some of that up too. As probably my favorite baseball product last year, and it was 25 bucks a box. Brilliant.
Yeah.
We've got a few more chats. We'll finish up here, and then I think we're good. Yeah, our topics were Whatnot. We definitely talked about that. SI for Kids magazines. We talked about that and that play. Non-sport lots. sort of talked about that. Listings versus sales. We talked about that. So I think we got accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. Johnny M says he's at 50% organic with 2% promoted. Oh, I see what he's saying. So half of his are at 2% promoted. Sales amount is almost dead even too. Weston says he has 2.7K, so probably will be pretty similar level of results. Bigley is fun. Son likes it. Funky inserts. That's what it's all about for me. Nice price point. Yep. To be more specific, I actually run at 2.1% because I feel like anyone who promotes the minimum goes 2%. So I try to get a slight edge on the algorithm.
Yeah.
I pulled a low-numbered Babe Ruth hollow, so there Scott got a numbered card. I did not get a low-numbered Ruth hollow. That's funny, Weston. Good idea. That's why I did 11% because I think many cap at 10. Yeah, I think many cap at 10 too. But guess what? When they cap at 10, I'm happy to sell it at 11 or 12. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I look at it this way: if I'm selling a card for $2, that's 20 cents. That's nothing because I'm overpricing it anyway. I'm pricing it above market. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't do you do a limit on yours? Do you cap yours?
No, I don't.
I don't either. Keith has joined us late to the show. I'm late, but I just wanted to say what's up, guys. What's up, Keith? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Dan says I do dynamic and add a 0.5 to get that edge. Okay. Scott says, how often is your promoted percent really high, like 20%? Almost never. I would say usually it's around like 11 to 15. So, but like I said, I've had some really low too. I had one the other day that was like 4%. 4%. So that's the beauty of going dynamic. It just drops to whatever is the current going rate.
Yeah, I'm just kind of glancing through mine right now. A lot of 12 and 13%.
Yeah, that's right where I'm at too, because everybody caps at 10. So you hit that. And some think like you, where they go, oh, I'll do 11 because everyone caps at 10. Well, then we're paying 12. So if you cap, I'm still going to be over the top of you.
There's a 16. There's some 9s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
quite a few 9s.
What card was the 16 on?
Let's see. That is a Press Pass Cup, 2015 Press Pass Cup contender, Ryan Newman. So a NASCAR card.
Interesting that it's NASCAR.
Yeah.
You would think there's not as much competition. So you want to know what my 4% card sale was?
Jeter?
No. Gosh. It was a Pete Incaviglia.
Oh, yeah.
1982 Fleer sticker card.
That would make sense, right?
That was my 4%. Not a highly competitive card, but guess what? I gave up 4 cents, and I got that card out of the stack. So it's a good sale in my mind.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately, my listings doesn't let me sort by that promoted percentage. I wonder if I can add a different column to my filters that would let me do that sometime, but just eyeballing it, I mean, I don't remember ever seeing one more than 16%. 11, 9.
I think I had one that was 17 once, but it was a while ago, and I was like, whoa, 17%. It really depends on how much competition there is.
Yeah, yeah. And it looks like so far 9's been the lowest I see. Which makes sense because if you remember our conversation earlier, I said I used to kind of manually set it at 8%, and I felt like it didn't really make a difference. Well, the dynamic seems to be setting a floor at about 9%.
Right. Yeah, 2% really isn't doing you anything, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to get you anywhere. Well, Scott makes a point here. He says, I sold a Griffey auto and it was an 11%. He said it was a $300 card. So it cost you what, $30 to sell that card. Now, would you have been able to sell it at 300 without promoting it?
If it's going
Right.
for 300, I would think you could.
And what did you pay for that card? Did you make a profit? You have to remember, a profit's a profit. Take your profit. Even if you got to pay eBay something to get you that profit. Did you try selling the card without promoting it up front? Did you try selling it for 3 weeks, a month without promoting it? And if so, it didn't sell. Why didn't it sell? Was it priced too high? Is there too many cards listed out there? Did you need the promotion then to help sell it? So there's some variables in there to that as well. That's what hurt. It's hard to not include them when going dynamic because as I list on the app, the card goes straight to my current ad campaign. It doesn't have to. You can remove the ad campaign when you're listing a card. Keith says he caps at 5%. He should move up. Up to you. We don't do 5%. That's what I can tell you. When you send or accept offers, you can't see if they clicked on promoted. Yes, you can. It'll tell you. When you receive an offer, it'll say, if you accept this offer, it is subject to a promoted fee.
Yeah,
So
that had a
that's
blurb
it.
underneath.
Yeah, so you're incorrect there. How much to discount on your offer? Yeah, you can counter and it'll tell you what the promoted, when you receive the offer, it'll tell you what the promoted rate is. I could have probably sold it without promoting, but to your point, it was in the profit and it sold really quick, so there's value in turning it quickly. And that's just it. You know, let's say you would have brought this to, let's rewind our time frame here, okay? Let's say this was 20 years ago and you didn't have, well, let's say it was 40 years ago and you didn't have eBay to put this on. So you bring it to a consignment store, right? A store where people are going to get eyes on it. Because you trying to sell it out of your trunk is going to be a tough move. So you bring it to this consignment store that sells sports collectibles and autographs and whatnot. What do you think they're going to charge you to sell that?
At least 10%.
At least 10%, plus maybe monthly space
Yeah.
to be in that store. So, like, that's just kind of the cost of selling things. I don't know how else to put it. But let me just tell you what I would do in this case, okay, if I had this card. So let's say I paid $50 for the card. I'm just using that for argument's sake. And I think I can sell it for $300. Now that would be on the higher end, right? Because I don't sell discount. I'd rather pay the promotion than sell the card at a discount. So let's say the card typically is selling around $280. And I said, well, I think I can get $300 if I sell this correctly. I would list it at $300 and I would not promote it. I would leave it for 2-3 weeks. I would send my coupons out to my customers and I would have that be one of my cards I'm featuring in my coupon and my newsletter as a new listing. See if I get any bites on it. If it doesn't sell in a month, I would turn my promoted on. It would sell at 11%. So I'd lose my $30. But remember, I charged $20 more for the card than what other sellers have accepted for it. So I'm out basically $11 in that case, or $13 in that case, whatever it comes out to be. That's the way I would do it. And I would get that quick sale. I would still have a sale within a month.
So while we've been talking, I've now scanned 1,400 listings, and every listing is between 9% and 16%,
Yeah.
with the bulk around 12%. And I will admittedly tell you, if you've looked at my store, I traffic in a lot of highly competitive, very low-end cards. Like I've got a lot of $1.99 listings where I expect that I'm gonna need a higher dynamic rate to sell those before somebody else, right? So yeah, I don't set any caps and I use the dynamic and everything falls between 9 and 16.
And if you If you sell that $1 card and you pay a 10% promotion fee, it's 10 cents.
Yeah.
So it's not, the total end of the universe. And if you're charging $1 for it and you got it out of a dime box, you're doing okay. I mean, fees aside, because you got to figure out of a $1.99 listing, you're losing $1 for your other expenses.
Yeah.
Shipping and whatnot. So.
Oh, we're talking about whatnot again?
Oh, I gotta stop saying that word. That's the other thing I hate about that website. Like when I say it now, people are like, "Oh, whatnot?" I'm like, "No, not that whatnot. Not that whatnot. The other whatnot." Scott says, "Good point. Problem is on higher cards, buyers look at the comps almost always, whereas low end they may not. That might be true. That's a valid point. Since I'm late tonight, I'll be rewatching the live, catch all the good info. Definitely helps a ton. Awesome. Great to hear it. It will certainly be posted on the YouTube channel here. Do run a coupon, Charlie, with that dynamic. Do you run a coupon?
Yeah, I do run coupons. I run my 4 or more coupon full-time in my store. And then occasionally I'll shoot out some targeted coupons as well. I don't think that the coupon excludes any promoted listings. I think those are just any other listing in a coupon. But that's also why I set limits as to how much a buyer can save on a coupon too.
Correct.
But yeah, so there's the coupon. To your point, there would be the coupon saving plus the 10 to 50 cents additional for that dynamic promotion too, if those are the cards they end up getting. I still think it's a good trade-off.
Yeah. As a guy who's been doing this kind of stuff for a super, super long time, yes, it's a heck of a deal. And remember, you only pay it if it sells in a promoted sale.
Yeah.
It's a great deal. It's just money coming off of your end amount. You don't have to pay anything for it. Your buyer pays for it.
Well, and let's say the buyer buys 10 cards and 2 out of 10 are promoted. You're not going to pay a promoted fee on the entire order, right? It's per
Correct.
card, per listing.
Correct. That's another place where the coupons can help you, because if you're sending out the coupons, there's less likely that they're going to buy it off of a promoted link.
True. They're going to go see eligible items for that coupon, and that's going to count as organic.
Correct. So you can kind of help yourself out that way. And that's where I said, like with the Griffey card, where you have, for me, that would be a big card. I don't sell a ton of $300 cards. That would be something where I would want to sort of feature it in the coupon. I have my Griffey buyers. My follower book is at like 1,300 now. I've got, 700 regular buyers out of that. And like, that's pretty good amount of eyes. I can try to sell it myself and save that $30. But remember, the more you put your own effort into selling it, the more that's costing you too, because you could be listing more cards, you could be, selling other stuff, whatever. So everything costs some kind of money or some kind of time. Scott gets so many so this is where this is coming from. Okay, I get it now. He says he gets so many standalone $1.99 sales. I need to list more. I have 3.5K listings. That's why you don't want to pay the promoted fees, because you're getting a single card listing at $1.99. So you're getting feed to death, right? Yeah, you have a different issue. I would say the promotion is actually not your problem. I would say the problem is you're not getting enough combined, quantity sales. That's what you really want to focus your efforts on. That's the 10 or 11% isn't going to matter once you start getting more multiple listings. Right, Charlie?
I agree.
Okay, we'll take this last one here and then oh boy, we got a few. Thanks for the reminder earlier on international shipping. I did it before and got an extra postage. Extra postage chargeback that was way over the price of the sale. Wish I knew why. Sorry for lack of details. Oh,
That's
yeah,
odd.
you shouldn't. If you're doing it through the eBay program, as long as you can, you send it with tracking to the eBay location, so standard envelope, you're done. Once there it shows it was delivered to the eBay sorting center, you don't have any responsibility to that card after that. I'll report back next week, but I can't hold out at 2% all weekend. Okay. Let's see. I've got approximately 10K listings. This is MI3 cards, by the way. Mostly low end. I've got a sale going for 30% off 4 or more. Not many takers. Do I need to change up my listings to newer cards or change the discount? Either one might work. I don't know. It's really weird because I'll have a coupon. I pretty much have a coupon going all the time too. And I'll go like a day or two with not many sales of it. And then all of a sudden, boom, I have like a 10 card order, a 20 card order, a 40 card order, a 30 card order. And it just hits. So send the coupon out regularly. Not just create a coupon, but actually send it out. Have your newsletter where you have your coupon in there, stuff like that. And you should start seeing some activity on that eventually. If you're not a very big store, that might be part of it too. You just don't have as many like followers and shoppers. So even creating a coupon isn't getting that much buzz for sales.
When you send out your coupon in your newsletters, do you send out the standard one that's active across your entire website, or do you do a custom one?
No, same one.
Okay.
Yep, I just want them to know that it's there. It's just kind of that reminder. Oh, that's right. I need some more Jeter cards. So I'll go there and I'll use this coupon code. I've even sent that to customers that are like, hey, I want to buy like 10 cards. Do you give me a discount? I'm like, yeah, here's the coupon code, And I'll send individuals out too if I have, like a customer hasn't paid for an order yet. That's one of the things I'm doing now. If it's been a couple days and they bought a card that they haven't paid, I'll send them a coupon. Hey, well, maybe, here's your chance. You haven't paid for this card yet. Go pick out 4 more cards and now you can get a discount besides. Solves a couple of problems. Hopefully it'll get that card paid for and maybe sell a few more cards. And Scott says, yes, feed to death. Thanks, Scott. These sales, it was not designed to sell $1.99 cards individually. That's not a very good business model. You can't run that way. Because there's just too much expense built into that. So you have to, and I think maybe if you increase your promotion, you'll get more multiple card sales too. So it could actually solve your problem increasing your promotion rate that way. I have 200 followers. Not bad. That isn't bad.
Yeah.
You all belong on a wall because you're studs. That's all I got. End the night with a laugh for y'all. That's it right there. We have to end at that. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
Mic drop.
I'm on a wall. I'm on a wall. All right. So I think that's it. Well, we can always mount the Stu's head. He's only got one ear, but we could get him mounted on it. How's that look? Like this, right? 2 horns but 1 ear? Or
yeah.
Like this. To go like that? Something like that? I don't know.
Look at that. Look at that.
Like this?
He's more aerodynamic now.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We really appreciate you all. If you watch this live, please hit a like. Consider subscribing to the channel. We love having you here. Ring the bell if you want to be notified of future videos, including the lives. I haven't probably stressed that enough, but if you ring the bell, it'll remind you when the live is coming on too. For those that have trouble remembering the 8 o'clock Wednesday night show we do every week. Those who are watching it recorded, hopefully you can join us live in the future. We'd love to have as many chatters in here as possible. But enjoy the video, and we'll see you soon. And keep listening and keep shipping.
Peace out.